Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mother Knows Best, hosted here on my channel, Nourishment Redacted. Mother Knows Best is a series for those who are interested in understanding the idea and implementing the lifestyle of meat based eating for their family. Our children are born and bombarded by sugar, processed foods, and preservatives as soon as they enter this world. My name is Ellie, as I told you before, and I'm doing my best with my husband to raise our children with their nutrition protected. I invite other meat based mothers and experts in this field to talk about a topic that isn't talked about enough: the importance of eating whole, natural foods with an emphasis on fat and protein. In this episode, we featured the missus from the Poko Moonshine family. Together with her husband, they have a vlogging channel dedicated to living an adventurous life and creating memories with their beloved son. She's a carnivore mom who has regained her health, no longer forced to count calories. She just eats a carnivore diet, eating only the most nutritious foods, and has seen so much healing. She's setting an example for her son, living life to the fullest with her husband. And I am so happy to welcome Anna to Mother Knows Best.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you
So,
for having me.
absolutely. Um, I knew I had to have you on because I had the pleasure of being on JT's Chatting with Carnivores, and I could tell what he is a wonderful man, and I had to know who he was married to, and like because I can tell that you and I've seen you on his channel too, and I can tell you guys have such a wonderful friendship, and so and what I really like about your channel is that you're not afraid to have adventures. You're not afraid to like you don't just sit home, if you can. You don't just sit at home. You have this thirst of wanting to explore and show your son, and then most importantly show your son all of the beauty of this world. And so could you please just give us a little background about your health journey and how you found carnivore?
Yeah, absolutely. So my health journey actually is kind of a long one just because I kind of have always been overweight since I was since I was little. So, as far as I can remember, I was always overweight. And so I want to say since I was a preteen, I started trying to lose weight. And I think some of that pressure came from my parents. Not to blame them or anything, because obviously that comes from a place of love and care. Um, so a lot of that stemmed from them and not so much me. Um, and then so because of it came from them, I don't think I really took that seriously, but I did like kind of lose weight, but then I would gain it back. And it was kind of like my yo-yo dieting started there. I would binge eat. So I would eat way too much. And then I got to a point where I would try to not eat very much. So it was like binge and restrict cycle. And then I would, I don't think I really tried very many specific diets, but I would try to limit kind of what I was eating to very specific things like salads and veggies and things like that. And try to limit, obviously, what we consider bad foods. And bad foods, I mean, like, um, obviously, very sugary foods, but also things that I eat now, like more high fat foods. So I didn't incorporate those things into my diet, and I really eliminated a lot of things, but then I would kind of go back to all of those things too. So it was a lot of that kind of more not great eating patterns. And then, fast forward a little bit, and I started Weight Watchers, which was another kind of bad dieting thing for me. I did lose quite a bit of weight on that. But then I went to actually a physical trainer and was working out quite a bit in the gym. And when I sat down with her and she actually looked at what I was eating, she's like, "You're not eating enough." And so after thinking about it and talking with her, she basically and I decided that it's really not the best choice to stay on that. I've heard other people say, like it's really helped them actually follow someone who's had amazing results on that, but they haven't stuck with it after they got to where they wanted. So it's not sustainable, at least not for them. And so for me, that ended up not being a great path. And then now, how I found carnivore was seeing JT do it. So I was very hesitant for about a whole month, not quite a whole month, but very hesitant at the beginning. And he would tell me, you should try it. It's a great diet. Um, he's very persistent. So that's something I love about him because, he also coming from a place of care and never like anything mean. Um, but it really did help. And just seeing him do what he did, lose the weight that he did, because when you start carnivore diet, it's very, and especially if you're very consistent, you see the changes very quickly. And I also experienced that for myself too. Um, and so seeing him do it, and then finally, I was also in a place where I was doing really well with food, um, what I considered well at the time, where I wasn't really um, eating like a whole bunch of things because I had previously eaten binged and things. So I had kind of gotten that under control of myself. I had worked on healing that part of myself, I think, with food, um, prior to starting carnivore. And then, but then my weight kind of stalled despite working on all of that stuff. And then, so when JT had started working on this, it was kind of perfect timing. And then I finally, when I noticed my weight kind of stalled in my weight loss process, I was like, you know what? I was like, why don't I just listen to him and just try it? So I was glad that he kind of never gave up on just like encouraging me to try it. And it helped us also that it included a lot of the foods that I liked too. So
Same
seeing
here.
him eat a lot of the same foods that I liked, it just really helped. So that's how I found carnivore diet. It's not in my weight loss journey, that's kind of all kind of intertwined in there. So that's how I found it.
Well, that's awesome. I struggled with emotional eating, and I think at times some binging. I don't think I necessarily had like an ED or anything like that, but
Yeah.
food was always on my mind.
Hmm.
My voice keeps cracking today. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it's like I constantly was seeking food for comfort and to help me process really stressful times, or if I was happy, I just always went back for food. So I completely understand that. And so, how do you feel that's improved with carnivore? Because binging can be quite a serious condition if you think about it. And I feel like, do you feel like you finally gotten a grasp on like your hunger cues and how you feel with food and everything like that?
Yes. So this is the first diet that I felt full and I don't think about food. Prior to that, I can tell you I thought about food all the time. Even on previous diets and things, like my hunger was like, when am I going to get the next meal? When am I going to get the next snack? My day was like pre-portioned. A lot of times, even on the diets, I would have everything planned out for the day, which is really exhaustive, by the way. Like, it's so exhaustive to think, oh, what am I going to eat today? And pre-plan all these meals and make them all. But now on carnivore diet, I'm like, it's really simple. What do I want right now? Go make it quick, eat it, and then I'm full and I don't have to think about that. I eat also way less than I used to, and it satisfies me. So I'm craving a lot less throughout my day, which is so nice. Like, it's freeing, honestly. It's mental freedom, physically freeing. I don't have a good way to describe it if you haven't been in that shoes where you weren't feeling that like constant mental and physical craving. Like, it's just that freedom that you have now.
Yeah, I think food, the wrong foods that humans are not supposed to eat can be extremely addicting. And
Hmm.
just like any other drug, it's going to envelop your mind. You're going to constantly be thinking about it. And I want to say that I'm so happy that you have found carnivore diet and it's helping you and if you find it sustainable. I do know that you struggled with diet soda
Yes,
for a
yep.
while. And what is your advice for someone who might be struggling with that?
So, I switched to sparkling water or carbonated water, and that has completely helped switch. I actually did randomly, I will admit, I randomly did try diet soda after William's birthday party, second birthday party. It did not satisfy me at all, and I, in fact, dumped all of it, and dumped my like, I had, like, a half a cup left and dumped it because it doesn't taste the same, and it doesn't satisfy my cravings, so that's actually what I'm drinking right now, and it just because I think what I was really craving and what satisfies me and what helps me drink more water is, like, the carbonation. So, for I think for some people, if you don't necessarily find satisfaction in the soda, in the diet soda, and you really don't like the taste of it, it might just be the carbonation. Like if you're looking for a good replacement, obviously it's not always the case. Like sometimes it is actually like the soda and like the sugar and whatever, and you want that replacement. But for me, it ended up being the carbonation, and that really helped. But that has helped transition me, and so I really like it. Some people it's like absolutely no, like JT's like, no, I do not like this, but for me it's really helped.
That's great. I find that with habits, and addictions, if you want to call it that, the motion is more important
Yeah.
than like the actual like consumption or the smoking. Like if you're smoking a cigarette, it's the lighting of the cigarette
Yes.
and bringing it to your mouth. Like that's the habit. And
Yes.
so I think that's great that you replaced a can of diet soda or probably regular soda at first, then diet soda, and then now you're drinking the carbonated water. And I agree, I think it's very crisp, it's refreshing, and especially like on a hot day, and it feels
Yes.
like you're indulging in something but you know that it's not doing any harm to you. So I think that's great. And I'm saying all your, I don't know if you noticed your non-scale victories. So I noticed that you quit coffee early on. Was
Mhm.
that because of like a general disinterest in it as you ate carnivore, or you felt like you weren't needing it for energy? Or like for me, I felt like I had so much energy I just didn't need it anymore. Like how did that go for you?
So, it was really, like, just trying to eliminate a lot of the sugar that I was getting in it because I was still adding creamer, which isn't inherently bad, but it was, like, a lot of the like, I feel like some of the other like, I would get, like, some of the other creamers that had additional things in it, not just plain creamer, and so it wasn't the best thing for me, and so I did just was like, "I'll try the bulletproof coffee that you just put, like, the butter or whatever in," and I tried that and I didn't love it, and so for me, if I don't love it, like the carbonated water, I'm not gonna adapt it into my life, and so for me, if I wasn't gonna love it, I'm just gonna go away with it, um, and it ended up not being too bad to get rid of, so I just ended up foregoing it, and it's not really affecting too much, so um, I will say, and it wasn't too bad of a transition. Like I thought after having coffee for so long, it was going to be a worse transition than it was. That I had a headache for maybe like a day, day and a half, and then it went away. So you would think it would be worse. People make it sound way worse than it would be. And maybe for some people it is. But I do want to open that up. Like maybe it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. Like I would just throw that out there for people. Like just try. Maybe see it. Maybe it'll go better than you think.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice. I see a lot of people who are interested in like even with keto or carnivore, or and
Yes.
they say, "Well, I would do that, but I can't give up my sweet tea," or "I would do that, but I can't give up my coffee." And I think it's really encouraging what you're saying that you can. You like
Mhm.
anybody can do something for 30 days, I feel like. It might
Yes.
be difficult to do the full 30 days, but if you have that mindset of waking up every day and you're like, okay, to like for example, like the coffee thing, like today I choose not to have coffee. And then you wake up the next day, I choose not to have coffee. And you think about your day, what can I do that's going to help me or that maybe I go to sleep earlier the night before, or maybe I enjoy, like you do, like the nice carbonated refreshing drink in the morning, or maybe go out for a walk instead. Like replacing that, I think really, really helps. And I don't think coffee on a carnivore diet is inherently bad. You know, if you're just doing
Yeah.
black coffee, that's okay. But I totally
Right.
get it if you were used to like cream and sugar. That was me. I worked
Yes.
at a coffee
Yep.
shop for so long,
I did too. I did too.
and they get you. Oh man, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I get the discount. Yeah, let me. I gained so
Yep.
much weight working at a coffee shop that was a
Yep.
bakery too. And I used to eat the food in the back when it was about to be thrown away. They'd have a whole tray of things. I'm like, I'm gonna take a
Right?
couple. I didn't care if I could get fired. Like the food just like controlled me, and the coffee. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Um, so do you feel like as a mom, now that I know that you're sleeping better, you're no longer snoring, do you feel like your rest is so much better, and you have more energy for like playing with your son and like going about your daily activities? Because I know you work. And so how do you feel about your energy levels in carnivore?
A lot better. I think, before that, it's part of it too, but I'm trying to remember back, but before that, my son was little and it's that first year and he's constantly waking and stuff. And it was all a blur, but I feel like if I had carnivore on my back, I would have had so much more energy just to be able to handle that period. But right now, I do feel like I have more energy to tackle all that time from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. Like, I'm not dragging throughout the day. And even like I chase around little kids throughout work, and I used to not really want to run around and chase them, but now I have the energy to do that. So, like, it's a lot better. Like, I just feel better throughout the day. It really is an improvement on my end, I feel like.
Oh, that's so great. Like, oh, I was I you talk to any mom and you know the struggle of the energy because it's
Yes.
like kids are constantly bouncing around and you work with kids also, so it's like they're draining your energy. Not that we, like we don't want to call it that. We want it to be like meaningful
Right.
connection and like being together and having fun, but there's sometimes that you're just like I need to charge my batteries. Like
Right.
I am so low. So I think that this is like when you're finally eating the proper diet, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't have to crash it in the middle of the night or in the
Right.
middle of the day anymore. And like I'm not waking up constantly at night like I was. I was like every day I would wake up around 3 a.m. wide awake and I'd be like, okay, what do I do? Scroll on my phone until I pass out. It's just like I
Right.
feel like it just gets so better. I'm so glad that's working out for you. And your son, you said, is he 1.5?
He's 2. He just turned 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. It was his birthday recently. Happy
Yeah.
birthday. That's so great. I have my son is 1.5, so they're very
Oh,
close in age.
that's
So,
cute.
like, how would you describe his diet? Because I know you and JT are carnivore. Is he more animal based? Is like low carb? What would you call it if you wanted to call it something?
So he is very low carb. We do offer like meat options just to because we don't necessarily we want to give him choices because as he gets older, he's going to make his own choices in life. We do want to eventually teach him, those choices have consequences, but right now we are primarily offering him what we're eating. So if we're eating a steak, he gets offered pieces of steak and he'll eat those. If we do offer him some non-carnivore options, he typically will not eat those. So it's very funny. Like sometimes it's taking a little too long for us to make something because he's very little and two, and sometimes he'll cry. And while he's waiting, sometimes we'll put out like a piece of a granola bar or something, and he'll leave it on the table while he waits. So that's an example of a non-carnivore option that like, and sometimes he will take it. So it just really depends on the day and his mood and what he kind of wants. Um, he does really like fruit sometimes, so he does get some sugar through that way. But he really responds mostly to the meat options. So he loves salami, he loves summer sausage. I'm trying to think of other meat options that he really likes. He's really been into steak lately, so that's his big thing. I did discover we went out for the first time in a while the other day, and he loved ribs, which is so cute.
I
Um,
love that. Getting all messy and just
yeah,
having that big
yeah,
there's something about little boys and big bones,
yeah,
like, like
yeah,
a big steak bone or something. I love that. Oh, that's so
yep.
cute.
And then, yeah, no, he loves chicken too. So he loves a wide range of like the more meat type things. He doesn't really get juice or anything like that in our house. Because we just really don't keep those options in our house. He does really like my carbonated water. Like he'll come up and he'll ask for water. He knows it's water and he'll ask for it. Um, he used to drink soda and stuff with me on occasion when we had it, but we don't have that stuff anymore. So it's just really, I feel like the environment that we set up is really important of what is offered. If it's in the environment, you're more likely to have them asking for that stuff. If it's not, then it's less likely. So but I will say he does tend to lean more towards whatever we're eating. So that's why I feel like it's really important for JT and I just to set that example for him.
Absolutely. Like that is like one of the number one tips that I give like people who might be interested in like trying carnivore with their kids is like you have to set your house up for success, like just like you said. So if you don't have the things in your home, you can't give it to them, and
Right,
if you have like lots of processed foods or like non-carnivore options, just slowly eat through that, and then when it's gone, it's gone, and then
right,
you don't have to like lie to the kid, be like, well, we just don't have it. And this is why we're choosing to eat this way for our health. These are like what we've learned. And I think as a kid, like your children, and anyone's children get older, it's like they're going to slowly understand that this is, um, there are reasons for it. Mommy and daddy used to be really sick. We don't want you to be, we want you to be strong and be able to have great ability like to read and to dance and to like play outside, like all those things. Since you've been eating carnivore, do you think you're eating better in quality? I do know you and JT love to support local farms, which I love. I think if more people should try to do that. Do you think like there's a difference in quality and like the way you feel, or do you like, I'm just curious about that.
yeah, I think there is like I can't quite tell like the difference between the way I feel, I guess. Like that's really hard for me to tell because we do get like a mix of store bought things and farm things, so it's just really hard for me to tell. I think I would have to get like farm bought things for like a month or something and then go back to store and just see how it influences my body. But I think I do notice like a little bit of quality things in like eggs and things. Like for me particularly, I notice a little bit of a difference in that, like in the taste and obviously the way that they look a lot of times. Um but I do notice a little bit of difference with that. As far as like meat and things go, I mean, I think it just is a lot fresher and it tastes a little bit better coming from the actual farm. But I can't really tell like a difference in like how it makes me feel. But I don't know. I don't know as far as that goes. As far as how it makes me feel, because both of them, I mean, since I've changed, it has to the store bought and the farm stuff has treated me pretty well. Um, I don't know. Have you had any experience with that at all too? Because I don't.
I realized that was a kind of a hard question. I apologize about
No,
that.
it's okay. I want to learn more
um
too from other
yeah,
people.
I've honestly I've not done that, and so I've not like I need to look up like a local farm. Maybe I can get some farm fresh eggs. I hear a
Yeah.
lot of people say that the quality of egg is very like noticeable.
Yeah.
Especially they have like the yellow versus like the dark
Mhm.
orange, and
Yeah.
eating the bugs and the grass and everything like that. It's just something I'm personally interested, and I think that's really fair that you're like, you know, I just feel good overall, and I would need to like that's very scientific. I feel like that makes
Sorry,
complete
I
sense.
had come from like a very scientific background, so
Yeah,
that's where
no,
that cup comes up from.
that's no, that's awesome. I love that. I tend to think more with my heart before my
Yeah.
brain, so I apologize. So, you told me that the term progress over perfection is very important to you. Do you want to share why that's important to you and how you apply that to carnivore and motherhood and life in general?
Yeah, because I think I had previously put so much emphasis on perfection throughout my life in the past that it's made it difficult in multiple ways in my life. So, and it's made a barrier. So in weight loss, it caused me to fall off of diets and things. Not that, like diets, certain diets I feel like obviously are kind of set up to make you fail in ways. But I feel like in the carnivore diet, I didn't want to make like drop off everything at the same time. Like certain things I didn't stop necessarily doing all at the same time. Like I didn't stop coffee at the moment that I started carnivore. And like there's certain things I just didn't want to drop all at the same time because I didn't want to mess up my progress on this. And so for me, progress versus perfection just means like although I want to make progress, it doesn't necessarily have to be like I'm perfect down to the line in carnivore diet. And it's kind of the same thing like in other parts of my life professionally. Like not everything that I turn in documentation wise or I do in my job has to be exactly perfect, but I just want to do the best that I can do for the job that I do. So, and I think sometimes, it can be a hindrance to me, like if it can waste more time in that sense. I know that doesn't quite make sense because haven't gone into my job stuff, but like it just, like if you're focused so much on being perfect, I think it can make it harder for you in ways. And if you're just focused on trying to take those little steps to push yourself forward, I think it can get you farther sometimes. Whereas in the past, like I pushed myself so much to be perfect in a weight loss standpoint that it almost pushed me backwards a lot of times. And then I found myself worse off starting each time. So I feel like that's a lot of people who go through those yo-yo diet starts, So it's about making, like we kind of talked about earlier, those changes over time that are going to be long life changes that are going to help you, like switching from the diet sodas to the water or um, I don't know what else would be a good one, but like a good comparison. But just making those changes that are going to help you during your life. Like you said, taking a walk instead of drinking coffee to help wake you up. Those are really going to help you long term. And they're not necessarily going to be things that you necessarily all have to do at the same time. So that's what that means to me, um, personally. And I hope that helps someone else.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. I think in a day and age where we are constantly comparing with social media, you'll be scrolling on there and then all of a sudden you're like, Susie is at the beach with her kids and she looks fantastic. Oh my gosh, she had like 6 children. Why can't I look like that? It's just like that
Yeah.
negative self
Right.
talk.
Right.
And I think that's something that mothers need a lot because
Yeah.
you'll hear that one mother is doing this for their kid and then you'll hear another one doing this for that kid and then you feel like you're just not living up to it, but when
Right.
in reality they could be struggling with something that you're so wonderful at.
Right.
And instead of bringing ourselves down and like being bitter or judgmental, we can reach out a hand and be a friend or a family. And, we need to raise each other up. And so I think that's really great that I love the progress over perfection. Like apply it to your life so that you could help someone reach that same mentality because Man, we could be hard on ourselves.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Mm. I thought it was so cute, and can you hear my kid laughing?
Yeah. He's so cute.
I'm so sorry. It's like
It's okay.
I'm so professional here.
No,
They were also
you're okay.
screaming earlier.
Okay. I know how that
um,
goes.
yes, absolutely. I thought it was so cute, and you had mentioned this earlier that um your son tends to go for the meat more, like he's like
Yeah.
actually drawn to it. And then I think you and JT had said you went to a restaurant and they gave you bread and he
Yeah.
just didn't want to eat
Yep.
it. Were you surprised by that, or you were just you're kind of used to it now? You're like, he's meat, he wants meat, like.
Oh, I think it does. I mean, I'm not surprised, and yet I am, because like I offer him stuff all the time, and then I'm like, well, I guess he doesn't want it, like it is what it is. But the restaurant, I was like, wow, he doesn't want it. So yeah, it did kind of surprise me, but I mean, I'm kind of proud of him. Like, he's making those good choices. I don't know if it'll last forever. I'm hoping so, and that he's just gonna be on that right track. I do think it's very cute that he just emulates kind of what we do. Like, we weren't sitting and eating that stuff, and so he was just like, mom and dad aren't doing it. I don't know what that is. I don't want it. You know.
Yeah, we gave there was some French fry. We went out to eat with some they're like they're my sister's husband's parents. So we're not like blood related,
Yeah.
but we're family.
Yeah.
Extended family. That's the word. So we met up with them after church, and my husband and I didn't eat. We got some stuff for the kids that wasn't carnivore, and it was fine. I mean, we got him like some burgers, but then we took the bread off and he ate that because he's more of the
Yeah.
meat eater. My daughter,
Okay.
she fights me on it, a little bit.
Yeah.
So we were like, just let her. But we gave him a French fry, and he just kind of looked at it, and he was like, what? Like, you could tell there was some like, cogs were turning. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think this is food. But then it's
Yeah.
like, you would eat a leaf if I gave it to you. Why was he so like perplexed by this thing?
Yeah.
It probably looked foreign. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just extra inquisitive that day, but I thought that was pretty funny. And then he ate it. He ate like half a
Yeah.
fry, and it was okay.
Right.
I'm not trying to be so, like you said, like perfect all the time, because
Right.
they're going to be exposed to other foods. But as long as like the majority of the food is cooked at home
Right.
and they're eating it, that's how we run our house, and I feel good
Yeah.
about it. So like, what do you guys order at a restaurant if you do go out? Like, that's hard.
We haven't been out very much since Carnivore, and we used to go out all the time. That's a hard question. I think if we were to go out, we probably would order burger patties. I think that's what we usually do if we go out. Or steak, although steak is so expensive when we go, so it's a tough one. But I think probably burger patties is probably the easiest one for us to get. Usually if we were to run just by ourselves, it's usually to Culver's to get the burger patties a lot of times by us. Yeah, what about you guys if you go out?
Yeah, so we're kind of at the point where, oh, there they go. I'm sure that's.
My
Oh
son
my
is
god.
probably doing the same thing downstairs, don't worry.
we my like the living room is like right outside our bedroom, so it's just like they're having fun with their dad. I can't be too mad. But
Right.
what we kind of like, people are not gonna they're gonna be like, oh really? My husband and I don't eat out. Like, if we have
Yeah.
to go, like, we just choose not to eat.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we eat beforehand or we eat afterwards, and like, you're so tempted by all the smells and everything, especially fried food. Man, fried food just gets
Yep.
sometimes. I'm just like, that looks good. But I know where I've been
Right.
and who I am now and where I want to go. And so that is what motivates me. And my husband, he has like ulcerative colitis, and it can get quite like really, really bad. I forgot the word already, but like, it could get really bad if he were to have a flare up. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, that's his why, and he's not doing it for me. It's like, I don't want to, be obese,
Yeah.
like have mental issues anymore. So like, if you So that's good that you're staying away from those places, but you're not like depriving yourself of being social and going out and stuff like that. Do you like have family members that are supportive? I do know that you have your grandpa in law Lee. He's
Yes.
is he still carnivore?
He is keto now.
Okay, great.
I
That's
forget
awesome.
exactly why he switched back, but there was a specific reason why. Um, and I can't remember what the reason was, but on JT's side, I believe too, like his a couple other family members switched to keto, I believe too. So there's a couple people who are kind of leaning towards that direction, which is good. On my side of the family, I don't really have any members who are like the full like keto carnivore, but my dad is steadily making changes.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't have too many people. I mean, I have a lot of support, but I don't have too many people that are making the full changes. But I do have a lot of people who are supportive. There is not like anybody who is very like this is, at the beginning there were some concerns, but I feel like now that I have lost so much weight, they're a lot more supportive of it.
Yeah, I think that's great because I've gotten some like eyebrow raising, like how could you do that to the
Yeah.
kids? Like, oh, please don't do this to me. Hard enough as it is, but they've come around since. But
Yeah.
that transition period, it was
Yeah.
just like they see
Hard.
me now and they see my husband now and they're just like, oh, something's happening. But
Yeah.
we don't fully accept it, but like something's happening. And I do have my godmother. She's doing carnivore and she's coming off medications and losing
Wow,
weight.
that's
It's
amazing.
awesome. So speaking of medications,
Yeah.
I know that you have hyperthyroidism. And have you gone down in medication at all? And how is that condition going for you?
Yeah, so I have gone down several times in the medication, which is good. And we're currently trying to figure out where my medication's going to kind of rest because every time I get it checked, it's kind of now on the hyper side. And so, I mean, I think that's a good thing that my levels keep because I didn't know this before, but it's weight based. So every time you lose weight and you keep losing weight, it allows your body to kind of counteract and your TSH levels or your thyroid levels to increase a little bit. So that's good. And so when I talked to my specialist that I see about it, had said that, you know, it's unlikely I'll come off of it, but I don't like to think that anything is impossible. Like I like to think on the positive end that, it could happen. Um, and she didn't say that it was impossible. So I want to keep on the positive end that could be a possibility for me. I've been on that medication since probably I was 14 or 15. I can't remember exactly how long. And it's something that runs on both sides of my family. So it is something that's a little bit genetic, but it's also, I think, something that is something weight problem related too. So, but it is something that's improving.
That's great. Like, what are some of the symptoms that you used to have with that?
A lot of hair loss, and I still kind of experience that. Luckily have very thick hair and it grows back quickly, so I don't really have too much like issues with people noticing it or anything, but it comes out like crazy in the shower and when I brush it through and everything. And then I get a lot of dry skin. Um Previously though, I was kind of having a lot of tiredness and I think the carnivore kind of helped with that. So I don't know if that was entirely related to the thyroid condition or if that was just related to my how I was eating. So I don't know if other people would relate to that and to the that condition or not. But that was an interesting thought that I had. As far as anything else goes, I don't really notice anything in relation to that, but other people have different experiences with that condition too.
Yeah, I didn't know you had it so young. Was there something that happened at that age that, or they saw it in a blood test, or I'm not quite sure how that. I looked at your thyroid.
I forget how it came up, but they did take a blood test, but I don't know if there was, like, any symptoms that I was experiencing at the time. I have a feeling that I was experiencing some sort of symptoms at the time that I, like, let my mom know, and then she had them run some tests.
Yeah. Oh, I
And it
totally
might
get
have been related because at the time I was gaining some weight, so it could have been related to the fact that I was gaining some weight at maybe not a great, like, rate. So it could have been that too, because I know at that time it was that. And you don't know, like, puberty is happening all around at the same time too, so I don't wanna blame it on any one thing, but, it's hard to pinpoint what exactly is.
Okay, so you weren't too sure, but it
Yeah.
did you were having some symptoms. Yeah, I totally understand that. Um, I think that it's great that you have the potential of getting off your medicine, or I mean, not
Mhm.
getting off it, but
Yeah.
lowering your dosage as you become a healthier weight. And so, how about we share with the audience how much weight you have lost? Because it's pretty.
Yeah. I've lost 85 pounds. So it's really exciting. I have not gotten that far in, I don't know, a long time. I can't even remember being this low of a weight. So I'm excited.
That's amazing. Like, oh my gosh, like that must feel so good. Like, I hope that you're patting yourself on the back because you're work you're working hard, but like not that you're not working like that hard. But it's
Yeah,
like does it feel like effortless? Like this is like the first time you're not like,
it
like
does. Honestly, like, if I had to compare it to previous diets, I had to work that much harder. Like, go to the gym every day, do, not eat barely anything. And then, this day I feel full, you know, and I am moving around more, but like I don't have to necessarily jump on like a treadmill every day and things. I don't have to exhaust myself doing workouts for hour or something like that. It's a lot less stressful on myself in that regard.
that's so good. And I feel like because it's coming off, fairly easy compared to other attempts, like you're probably being less harsh on yourself as
Yes.
well, right? And so
Yes.
that's great for up here.
Yes, I agree with that.
Oh man, I remember running on the treadmill, running outside, like pushing myself
Yeah.
to try and lose weight by like, eating the salads and the dried chicken breasts and
Yeah.
like the way I say it's like, how do you expect me to move when I weigh as much as like a statue? Like I was
Right.
just so like
Yeah.
it was hard. So I feel like just putting the right foods in your body, and then it's like you're putting the right gas in like the car. And then it's
Yes.
like running better, and then everything starts to heal. It's just like it's fantastic. Like, whew.
Yeah. And then
What? Okay, go ahead.
too, like, I'm finding the reverse. Like, before I was like moving and working out to lose weight, and then now I'm like adding more movement in because I want to move as opposed to like it being a requirement for myself.
Wow, that's huge. That's like that's amazing because
Mhm.
I'm so lazy. I'm so lazy, but I have that feeling as well. Like I just like want to go to a gym or take a walk.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm kind of taking it easy with my knee, even though I'm like so much better, but still I have that urge as well to be like, I want to get out. Like it was really
Yeah.
nice being able to go to the park with the kids today and like, walk around with them. But I need to do that more frequently because I was exhausted
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. I know how that goes.
Like, okay, that was fun.
Time to go
I
home.
need I'm tired.
Right.
Let's is it bedtime yet? That kind of thing. We do have some questions.
Okay.
Why don't we say hi to some of the people that had come in? So Lindsay, she's one of my co-lionesses from Lioness Lifestyle Live, a good friend. She's I can't stand watch, but hi to everyone. This looks so dang fun. And it is fun. I
It
think you and
is.
Lindsay would get along really well. She's cute. She does ketovore. She's also a mom to two
Yeah.
boys, and I feel like you guys would get along because she's really creative like you. Michelle says, hello.
Hi.
Hello. And we have Bruce,
Hi, Bruce.
howdy. And Susie's here. Hello. I know it's like
I know. Somebody hi.
just, we gotta look at the people. We
Right.
gotta say hi, get interactive. Karen's here. David. Hope all is well. I think everything's going good. Yeah, day 300 for him. That's
Amazing.
awesome.
Wow.
Do you know your day?
Yeah,
Does
I
any
had JT show it to me because he has it on his phone. Sorry, JT. I know I need to get that on mine. 126 days.
Yay! Wow. It's like, have you ever done anything for 126 days in a row? Like, I don't this is the only thing that I've
Yeah,
been consistent with in
right.
my entire life. I don't know. This weird guy came in. He says, "Let's go." I'm just kidding. It's JT. It's Anna's husband. He loved JT. I'm gonna imitate him. Let's go, ladies. I'm making you cough. I'm sorry. Anna's recovering from a little bit of a little tiny baby cold.
Yeah. Yep.
David asks, "Where in the U.S. are you located?"
We're in Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin.
I was so jealous, like with the. I know actually you guys weren't able to go right to the Chicago meetup.
Yeah, or the person who was gonna watch William unfortunately got sick, so
Yeah, I
to
totally get
come.
that. But I was like, oh man, I wanted to go so bad. But I'm in
Yeah,
Florida. There's no way.
you
There's no
know.
way that was gonna happen. But I know there's gonna be more meetups and
Right,
more
right.
fundraising for the documentary and everything like that. Um, Marvin says hello from East Texas.
Hello.
Hello, and Simmons here. And we have this question from Bruce. Any suggestions? I can't read. Any suggestions on approaching family members about carnivore? Everyone in both mine and my wife's families are strongly against this.
I mean, I think, if you've already approached them about it and they're strongly against it, I would lead by example. If somebody is like a brick wall and you're trying to zone in on them about it, I would let that settle for a little bit, only because I don't think it's good to keep pushing and pushing and pushing about it. But you can definitely set the example. And, I think if they see how good you're feeling and you're showing that positive energy, they're going to pick up on that, see how successful you're doing, and how much energy you have. And I think that makes the difference for some people. I had some people who, especially on JT's side, I've noticed who were very adamant about it and even told JT, like, I don't want to hear about that anymore. And then after seeing his results and more people kind of jumping on the bandwagon, they then were like, oh, I think I'm going to try this actually. So I would just recommend, maybe backing off about it, because I feel like sometimes when we push and push and push, it kind of pushes people, a little bit farther away from it. So just maybe take a step back, give them some space, and maybe they'll reconsider.
Yeah, I think that's the most diplomatic way to go about it for sure. If someone asks,
Yeah.
give them their answer,
Right.
but if they're like kind of like eyes glossing over after you talk a little while, then you're like, okay, hey, what's going on in your life? Just change the conversation and let your healing show, because it's like it's so, I feel like it's so powerful
Mm-hmm.
how quickly we can heal our bodies. Like it took so many years of bad eating and
Right.
addictions, and then all of a sudden it's like our body was almost made to process food like this. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think that's a really great answer. Um, oh, Simon has a sweet comment. I've been wanting to meet her. I call JT Preacher. JT, since sometimes he gets on his energy thing, he's very enthusiastic about it. Their little boy is adorable. I agree.
Oh, thank you.
So cute. Oh my! I saw the video of you guys going to the farm store and like getting pumpkins and stuff like that. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, my son was watching it with me
Aw.
and he was waving and I was like, that's a baby just like
So cute.
you. And he was just like, hi.
Oh,
Yeah. And then he
that's
saw,
so cute.
yeah, and then he saw a cat and then he went, oh, woo. And I was like, that's not a dog, sweetie.
That's so funny. William started to do the ah woo, and he'll like throw his head back and get into it. That's so cute.
Oh, he's howling. That's so
Yep.
cute. I love that. It's like, have you found that as a mom, now you're a carnivore mom, you got that awesome label. Do you feel like there are any improvements on your parenting style? Like, can you think better and like anything that comes to mind with that?
I think I'm just calmer. So like not to get on myself before, but like felt like my fuse was a little bit shorter. Like, when your kid's a toddler, their fuse is very short to begin with. They don't have impulse control and things. And so they're getting upset about things pretty easily or getting frustrated. And so at the time, like I'm getting overwhelmed very easily, but now I feel like I have more patience for those things and I can be more calm and I can work through a lot more calm down techniques with him, or I can regulate myself a little bit easier. And so it's a lot more like just mental clarity in that aspect where I can just work through my own regulation a little bit um because I just feel like before that, it just was really fuzzy up here almost, it's the best way to describe it, or a little bit more challenging in that aspect. I don't know if you have kind of the same experience with your kids, but
Yeah, I feel like so I too I'm a type of person that suppresses anger
yeah,
and then it like comes all out and it's like
yeah,
I'm not proud of that, and so I
yeah,
feel like
I'm the same
my
way.
fuse is getting longer, but
Mhm.
I'm still working on it because there's
Yeah,
obviously something that's triggering me to become like reacting in a bad way. And I,
mhm.
I feel that since I've been on carnivore, I'm finally able to go, wait, oh, don't do that.
Yep, right,
It's like there's like that stopping point. And of course, I make mistakes. I'm not always perfect, but I do like to tell the kids that if I, say I did get upset, because I want to be transparent because not
right,
like every
yeah,
mom has mom rage or gets upset
right,
or can't regulate their own emotions. Like, how are we expecting young kids to be able to do it if you can't? So
exactly,
you have to work on it from within. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm able to be more calm, but there are still things I need to work on as
right,
a mom. And it's like for the first time I'm able to be like, oh, wait, just
right,
I don't know. Does that
exactly.
make sense?
And I'm glad we're kind of talking about it because I feel like people don't talk about it enough. And I feel like, in previous generations, like a lot of times they weren't really able to talk about it, or maybe it wasn't just because maybe with like technology is just more accessible and like the YouTube and the TikTok, like a lot of people are just more talking about that stuff now. But I just feel like moms are probably just so alone in that, and now we can talk about that and normalize it and just work through those things kind of together, and you don't have to feel so alone in that because I think all parents experience that little bit of frustration that you have, and you have to try to work on regulating yourself a little bit better and working on kind of retraining yourself on how to deal with that, and also then being able to teach your kids then how to feel or be able to feel their feelings in a more appropriate way and handling those things, and carnivore does help. I also just notice like with William, like when he does eat more of those carnivore type meals, his mood does shift. Like before he eats, and if he's just not in the greatest mood at those moments, it's just really tough. And like after he eats those meals, I do notice his mood does improve. So it's like, I wonder if it's just, it does just help in those multifaceted ways, just mental clarity, their moods, all those things.
Yeah, I definitely see a huge change in my kids when it comes to like eating more meat and less like sugar and carbs, and processed foods in general. I feel like my with my daughter, she would get so upset sometimes, and she still, don't get me wrong, she still has temper tantrums, but she would get so upset that she couldn't even like verbalize things, and she has an amazing vocabulary. Like she can really speak well. She's, you know, almost 3.5, but she speaks very well, always. And I feel like since we've converted her to more of a like meat based carnivore diet, some days it's like pure carnivore, sometimes it's more meat based, but I feel like she's able to like go, Mom, I'm upset because of this, and it's like, whoa. And I was
Yeah.
like, yay, it feels so good
Yeah.
to have that
Right.
dialogue. It's like, okay, you're meeting that level. Okay, great, this is awesome. Let's
Right.
keep going with it. And so that does feel really good. Um, if if my daughter is being like particularly picky, like I know it's because she's hungry, and usually she feels better after she eats a more heavy meat based meal versus something like more carbohydrates. So I just try to keep more meat in the house and less other things. You know, my kids, they eat fruit. You know, they have
Yeah.
mostly strawberries. My husband brought home some bananas. I'm not too happy about that, but it's okay. I'm gonna say it's
Right.
the holidays and it's fine. You know, they're metabolically healthy, and that's that. And
Right.
um so I really love this little, I call it a mini series because I feel like I'm gonna run out of moms eventually, but it's a bit knit.
There will be more moms, I don't think, I think we'll keep having more moms that will seek out the carnivore diet. They'll keep finding things that are beneficial about this. So I think you have a great show. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think
No
what you're
worries.
doing is great, spreading awareness. So, and moms are always going to be worried about what their kids are eating and consuming. So I think it's great what you're doing.
Yeah, and it just and it, you know, I feel like it's really cathartic to be able to come on here and be like, how you do? Like when we got on earlier, I was like, today was
Right.
not a good day.
Right.
It was a
Yeah.
hard day, and then there's
Right.
gonna be great days and okay days, and I think it feels really good to like see other moms and go, they're living, you know, a similar life, you know, with, and we're putting our nutrition first, and you know, we're seeing like these changes that are happening, and who doesn't like making friends, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And especially as moms, it's hard, I feel like, sometimes to make friends. Like you're in your own little bubble. And especially like if you're a stay at home mom, that's like you're at home a lot of the time. Like,
All the
um,
time.
so yeah, exactly. So it's that much harder to make friends. So it's nice. I like this. So
Yeah, I'm so glad. Are there any parting words that you'd like to give anyone? Any encouragement if they're thinking about trying carnivore or helping their kid adapt a more meat-based diet? The floor is yours, girl.
I thank you. I really feel like, first of all, if you're thinking about starting the carnivore diet, start by making those little changes. I said this earlier in this interview, but I really feel like those little changes that you make add up to really big changes. It creates a snowball effect for you, and that will really create success for you. And so I think too, if you're on the fence about trying it, just give it a try. It really helped propel me into a lot of success. I saw really big changes, especially within the first 30 days, and I'm still continuing to lose weight steadily. So I just encourage you to give it a good go. And then as far as with your kids, set the example. I think the strongest thing you can do is set examples for your kids. Offer them what you're eating, or, even if it's just eating what you're eating in front of them consistently. And then, if they express interest in what you're eating, you can definitely just offer them, hey, yeah, you can have some of this. That's totally fine. Let's eat it together. Or if it's even just getting more active with them, like, oh yeah, let's go on a walk, offering them that instead of just popping down in front of the TV. I think giving them those more healthier options and offering them those things is really important, and setting that example really does change because they emulate a lot, especially when they're really little. They emulate a lot of what you're doing. And so um I think it's just really important. So that's what is kind of on my mind.
Oh, I think that was beautiful. There's this very nice comment from Renee. You're kicking butt, Anna.
Thank
You
you,
keep
Renee.
kicking butt. I know that as you continue on your carnivore journey, you're going to see so many more successes. You're going to see your body change. You're going to see your mental clarity. It's going to even become more clear. You're going to I could see it. You're going to slowly come off your medicine, and you're going to be able to go on those adventures that you love, and maybe you're going to be able to do things like zip lining or something crazy. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if you want to jump out of a plane or anything, but there's nothing going to be hindering you. Your body
Right.
is not going to keep you prisoner any longer, and you're going to be able to do amazing things, just like Lucia says.
Lucia. I gotta do it for
Lucia,
JT. Lucia.
can you tell I watch Chatting with Carnivores? Can you tell?
Yeah, I can tell.
Just a little bit. Thank you, Lucia. That's so sweet. And so I think we're going to end it here. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, as I do with all my wonderful carnivore moms. Thank you so much for being here. And I loved getting to know you. And I hope you know that I'm your friend. And if you ever need someone to vent about mom stuff, please give me a text or call me. I'm here for you. And I want to wish everyone a good night.
Thank you so much, too.
All right.